Wingstop wings.
Cold fries.
I tried to warm them up like 3 times.
We don't have no plates.
We got hands and fingers.
We got hands and
We
fingers.
got paper towels.
We going right back to I don't understand.
So we interrupted.
Mm-hmm.
So we frozen.
I'm napping. Hand me a boat.
They
It's
don't
so
have
hot
no
in here.
bowls.
I'll just take the boat.
So what we gonna eat on?
You have a bowl.
We doing our Gaga and Son and Aaron and Son and Mommy and Son. Oh.
Wait, he doesn't get his name in the show. He's a guest.
Well, he should be. Look at us. Look.
That's why you gotta turn this off.
I can't help it, y'all. I'm sorry.
Can I have a
We're recording for our family singing Mukbang family channel on YouTube. And so we decided to go live because we're about to have a very interesting conversation.
About?
I don't know, but I know one of the things I want to talk about, which I keep seeing, is why is it that everybody is skipping over the holidays?
That's not no. See, y'all trying
Which
to come
holiday?
here.
All of them. They're going from Thanksgiving to Christmas. Now, I'm gonna tell you my position. My position is this: Thanksgiving don't got its own music. Okay?
Yes, it does.
Thanksgiving got its own music.
Yeah, it's
Yes.
Christmas music.
No, it's not.
What kind of music is
There is
Thanksgiving
no
music?
Thanksgiving music.
We gather together to
One
ask
song.
for Lord's blessings.
I never even heard of that song.
Well,
I mean, I heard of
just
it,
because
but-
you ain't heard of it don't mean it don't exist. They're going to him, one of them
Oh,
hymns.
give thanks.
With a grateful heart, give thanks.
But what do everybody listen to on Christmas music? I mean, on
Christmas
Thanksgiving.
They
Not
listen to
music.
Christmas. Yes, they do.
Yes, they do.
We don't.
Who is we?
My people,
Who your people is?
Snowdens and stuff. We don't listen to that.
Snowden and stuff. How he get all that space? He got push him towards the. We can fill up all this space
He
right
about
now
this big.
and move.
We should have put him in the middle and squished him. Was what we should have did.
How far much over you want me to go?
Okay.
And why you get all the wings down there?
Oh, all right. He can't have
These are
fries.
yours. These are yours.
Then don't eat none.
He can't have fries.
Right, so I get more than wings.
So let's switch these. Move the fries in the middle because you more interested in the wings, right?
No, I want some of them down there.
I mean, no, you can get some of them, but I know you want to get hold to your fries. So listen, y'all. So if y'all think that we should go ahead and start playing Christmas music on Thanksgiving, go in the comment section below and say what?
If you think Christmas music should be played at Thanksgiving, say yes, Christmas, Thanksgiving. Hashtag Christmas Thanksgiving.
That's too much.
What?
Just put. I vote yes.
He's a guest. How he don't get no
You
control?
don't control, Beth. You don't do all.
All of that is extra work.
Okay, so yes, and so I've seen people are now getting into this discussion about whether or not we're skipping holidays to get to holidays.
Oh, for example, Halloween didn't get out good before people started.
Thinking about Thanksgiving.
And Halloween.
All Hallows Eve, ghouls and goblins.
No, you can dress up.
No, I
as
like Halloween.
Disney
Halloween's
character.
pretty cool. I ain't mad about Halloween.
Halloween lets you lets one day where you can be something else other than yourself.
I
Well,
went
that's what every day.
I went as Donald Trump.
How many of y'all let y'all kids go with Donald Trump or Halloween? Because I know that's going to be a very small percentage of our audience. Ooh,
No,
I'm sorry,
I
didn't
have
stick
some.
my phone in here.
There's some. You would be surprised how many quote unquote African American. Oh, these are good.
I know.
African American people, black people that are Trump supporters.
Yeah, I know.
That's that secret percentage.
Yeah, it's a lot of them. But what's interesting is I don't know. We jump from one subject to the other. What's interesting is college educated African American people, especially women, do not go for Trump. But it's interesting that you will find a lot of entrepreneurs and business owners that go for Trump.
Oh, is that right?
Hmm. You don't think that's right?
I said, oh, is that right?
Mm-hmm. I've seen a lot of them, and I'm like, every time I see somebody that's really, really like strong for Trump, especially if I'm following them or something, I always go to their page to see what their employment status is. I'm gonna tell you why, because middle class people, they already know they ain't getting nothing out of this economy. And if you think you're getting something out of this economy, I really would love for you to tell us what it is in the comments below. So with this great economy, did you get a raise on your job? That's number one. Did anything happen with your taxes? What about your interest rate on your credit cards, on your house, on your car? Tell me how this economy helped you if you middle class.
So
go ahead, shoot me down. I don't even mind.
What's defined as middle class, though?
Middle class is usually people who make under $250,000 a year. And they make, they really do consider $250,000 a year upper class people. And then let's look at the working class. The working class is usually those who make, I think, $30,000 and below.
Okay.
Yeah. What you think they are? I'm telling you, because this is a stratus. This is
So
a
wait a minute.
stratification in America.
As a school teacher, that was considered to be what?
A working class.
Well, I made more than 30,000.
Oh, then you're middle class.
No, it didn't feel that way.
Yeah, that's what I'm trying to get to.
Oh,
That's what I'm trying to get to. You have poor, okay? You have the working class. You have poor, poverty, poor, working class. And y'all don't forget, people that are poor, they still work. Don't think that everybody that's considered poor don't have a job.
the working poor.
Yeah, they work,
Okay.
but they just don't make enough money to be considered to really take care of themselves and their family. Those are people who work service jobs.
Okay.
Like, they work at McDonald's,
Right.
they make minimum wage, and they're not making enough to really take care of their families. They need more than one income in the house to really live.
Okay.
So that's really considered poverty and poor. And working class are people like him, right? Yeah, like him, who make money, but the economy still is not in their favor.
I still don't have enough.
Huh?
I still don't have enough.
Right. It doesn't matter. Because people who make $250,000 a year still suffering in this economy. It's them Wall Street people.
Those crazy Republicans.
I'm with the unaffiliated party. So
God help us if they, we let them in those people in the border.
oh my goodness, we are not going to go into the immigrants. Ooh.
So
Go ahead.
do you think that teachers should be paid higher than doctors and lawyers?
Yes.
He's partial.
No, I'm not.
Let me say
Yes.
this. Let me say this.
We educate your kids.
I think,
We deserve more money.
okay, yeah, so let's look at the rationale. A doctor literally saves your life. What is your life worth, right? They literally are lifesavers. However, that's a profession that you chose to go into. Do you think that the profession you chose to go into and you took that Hippocratic oath, do you think that entitled you to more money than a school teacher who socializes and educates your children and, quote, supposedly prepare them for society as they get older?
Who has to be a social worker, a doctor,
Mm-hmm.
a parent,
Mm-hmm. A lawyer sometimes.
a lawyer, a sociologist, a
Wait,
psychologist.
Oh,
But teachers have to be all of those things.
Mm-hmm.
We have to be coaches,
Right.
counselors, therapists. We have to do all those things. And so to not get the money that we are worth,
Yeah.
doesn't work out.
I think the same thing about parents.
You think they should?
I think there's a balance between what the parent does and what the teacher does, because they're all socializing systems. The family, education, medical field, all of these dynamics within the society helps to train your child and prepare your child for adulthood, prepare your child to, you know, to really function as a part of the citizenry of whatever society they're in. So I don't think that teachers should not be paid what they're worth. I think they should, but I don't think we should compare them to another profession. I think each profession should stand on its own merits. And if within that profession, those who regulate the pay scale or whatever, you know, those are the ones we got to deal with, because I don't think a doctor feels that a teacher should make less than them. Well, not all doctors, because some doctors are pretty arrogant. And they think they're Jesus Christ. I mean, black Jesus, okay?
Which Jesus do you serve?
So, not me personally, I don't know. What do you think, Dane? You asked the question. Do you think teachers should be paid more than doctors? We know that Snowden does, and
I actually, in some cases, I don't.
Mhm.
In some cases, I do.
Right.
When it comes to elementary school, middle school kids, a lot of times teachers tend to be glorified babysitters.
Oh my God.
I said tend to be, in a sense of not the teachers who actually teach,
Mm-hmm.
but let's go to some of these schools where they're not really, they're just really throwing paper at the kids.
Right.
Do your assignment.
Mm-hmm.
Get out of my class.
Right.
We're not talking about the educators who take their time to,
Right.
you know,
Mm-hmm.
develop the child, and you know.
I
So,
agree.
you don't have to get offended, teacher.
I'm not offended, but
Don't get offended if you want
I always hear people.
I'm not supposed to be eating these.
I always
to.
hear,
Robert James, don't do it.
I always hear people say, you know.
Did you have enough? I'm sorry. Did
I always
you
hear
have
people
a sentence?
say. What? I always hear people talk about teachers tend to be looked at as glorified babysitters and different things like that. And the only reason why I made that sort of sarcastic smirk or
Mhm.
chuckle was because it's typically people don't know what teachers have to do. And they don't come into a classroom. So unless you've been in a school setting, and I don't mean as a student, but as an educator, it's like having the lady, what's her name, DeVos?
Oh my
Who
God!
is the Secretary of Education.
Who was the secretary of nothing?
If you have not
Oh, I'm
taught or you're not in the school system, a lot of times parents have this idea that of what's going on in the schools or in the classroom, but unless you're working in partnership with the instructors or the teachers, you really don't know what's going on in the class.
Right.
So
Especially those teachers who have to deal with breaking up fights.
Listen, let me say this.
we were supposed to be talking about Christmas music.
I know we can get back to that, but I gotta say this about this because y'all done got me stirred up a little bit. The education system.
Here we go.
Let me just say this. I don't think we should fault teachers for. I think we should fault teachers for the quality of their teaching methodology. But when it comes down to the actual curriculums and what students are learning and being taught, I think we need to relook at that. Because a lot of stuff that kids are going through in school, some of that stuff they never even deal with when they get older.
Mm-hmm.
I think that the school system should actually cater to what children are going to use when they become adults.
Mm-hmm.
For instance, I'm not sure which country this is, but there are some countries that actually teach kids skills from babies on up. They teach them skills. They don't just sit them in a classroom for 8 hours, 9 hours a day, teaching them a whole bunch of, first of all, fake history. Don't start with me. Fake history, quote, especially for the black community. There's not enough of our true history that's being taught in the school system. And so I think the curriculum has to be changed too, because that makes, when you look at your child, when your child comes home from school and you look at their work, you can see that what they're learning in school is not really benefiting them. I mean,
That's assuming that the parents look at these children's work.
well, I'm speaking
That's
from
what I was gonna say.
I'm speaking from a grandparent
But that's
who has a daughter who are very involved.
right, and that's the other part that I was gonna mention, because you said
Mhm.
about what's being taught with the curriculum.
Right.
Parents don't, their voice should not become silent,
Right.
even
I
in the
agree.
curriculum, in the
I
selection of
agree.
curriculum.
Mhm.
Which is kind of one of the reasons why I have this love-hate relationship with charter schools,
Mhm.
because in a public school setting, parents have a lot of power.
Right.
Charter school systems, they have some, but normally a lot of that work of curriculum is done behind the scenes.
So there's not
Mm-hmm.
a lot of parental engagement.
I mean, there's parental engagement, but it's not on the curriculum level. In
Right.
a public school, they have a little more leeway to say what they want their child to go
Right.
or have. So
Mhm.
that's why I'm saying, in the sense of curriculum, it doesn't just stop with or start with, well, you know, I sent my child to school, I asked them if they had homework. No, you have to really get involved. You have to know what's going on in your student's school. Go to the school, talk to your teachers, talk to the principal, get involved with other parents. Don't wait until it's report card time and then you want to fuss and fight with the teacher about, well, how come I didn't know? Well, how come this is the first time I'm seeing you at school? And I get it, you work, but just like a teacher's job is their job. When they go to
Right.
that school, that's their job. They don't have anywhere else to go. So it's the same. It's the same thing. Just like you go to work, you have to get involved and you have to want to be there.
So you guys are expected to parent.
Sometimes.
Oh no, they they parent a lot. Listen,
We're with the child more than
the parent is, because actually, and we talking both parents, because here we go back into the economy. Most people don't associate the educational system with the economy. They don't. They think all of these systems are separate, but all of these systems are part of one engine that is called society. So, for instance, your child's education is affected by his economical situation at home. For instance, the example that you just said about parents not being able to participate or putting in a lot of quality time with their children's education. These parents got to work, okay? And a lot of times these parents are working and they have latchkey kids.
I was one.
So if they were to actually try to cross roles, we call it in sociology, we call it role strain, where you have two roles that you're playing simultaneously. You're playing there's more than one, because take for instance the mother. She has to be a mother, she has to be a teacher, she has to be a co-worker. If she's married, she got to be a wife. All of these roles, well,
can't be a husband.
some women can be husband because, well, not husband, but they can be wife to wife,
Well, yeah.
wife to husband, husband to husband. So we got many dynamics of what families are.
Very diverse.
Exactly. So what I'm saying is, those children a lot of times are caught in a web that parents have no control over. They have to make a choice between feeding their children and giving quality time to their children. So you think about it, if they're not making enough money,
They can't give one.
they can't give quality time, and you can't fault parents for trying to feed their children.
So are you saying that the level of education or understanding or the quality of education directly is related to the level of income in their and like the type of neighborhood that they come from?
Exactly, because you think about it, you go into impoverished neighborhoods and go into the school system. A lot of times you look at their materials, their books.
Older.
Their books a lot of times are not caught up. We are in a technological age. There are still places in the United States where children have never used a computer. Do you hear what we take it for granted that we got 5 and 6 iPhones, iPads, and computers, and 3 and 4 televisions in the house. We got internet service. There are people in the United States who do not have internet in their house.
Mm.
They have no access to the technological age that we are now in, and we call that cultural lag, because what happens is they're not able to keep up with the popular culture because either they do not have access to the same resources to help them remain caught up with popular culture, or they have belief systems that cause them to stay back, because a lot of times people are not technologically astute because their belief systems. Some people believe the internet is the devil. Or they think it's the beginning of the mark of the beast.
Mm-hmm.
Okay?
I mean, the internet can get you in trouble.
Okay, whatever. So I'm just
It's
saying.
It's stuff on it.
There's a lot of dynamics to this web we call society. So as sociologists, we don't blame anybody. We don't blame parents. We don't blame systems. We don't blame anybody. What we do is we try to use an imagination that says, this is an issue, how do we fix this issue? How do we fix this issue so that it works better for the larger society, and at the same time, it gives better quality of life to the individuals that make up the society. You see what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. So we can't look and say, oh, the parents are terrible. Yeah, there's some things that they can be faulted for. But then on the other side of the scale, what is this parent dealing with that is causing them to respond the way they're responding? How is society affecting that parent?
And then we have to also look at the education of that parent.
Exactly.
There's a lot of times where, for example, we were the other day we were playing cards, and I stumbled across a new way of doing math.
Oh,
and it was
okay.
so funny when Aaron was saying, he's like, what's funny is that the way he added up, because I did a roundabout adding.
And when you was adding up our scores?
Yeah, I was adding up scores, but the way I did it wasn't your traditional way. Aaron was like, this is how they're actually teaching math to kids these days. So think about the parent who really didn't know that.
Exactly.
If their kids come home and say, "Mommy, I need help with this," their mother or their father may feel inferior and feel like that they are unable to help because of their lack of education.
Yeah, absolutely.
So if one has it's not always. Some parents push and say, "Hey, I want you to do better. I'll push education." But if education wasn't a part of their growing up, a lot of times they don't push education.
You're right.
I mean, I used
You're right.
in one of when I was teaching 2nd and 3rd grade math, we used what was called Eureka math.
Who?
Eureka.
Is that a vacuum cleaner?
Yes, Eureka or Engage New York was what we were using, part of the whole Common Core. And so they had homework helpers that we would send out every night to help the parents. But even in that, I would have a lot of my parents come and say, "Mr. Snowden, I don't know how to do this."
Wow.
So we would have home visits that we started doing. And I can tell you, at first, I was really against home visits.
Wow.
I was against home visits because teachers are already stretched thin. They have their own lives, their own families, children that they have to check on. And so it was like, well, God, now we got to spend more time trying to go to little Johnny's house, meet his mama, meet everybody.
That's the social worker part of the teacher.
That's the social work. But it does help because you start learning more. I don't recommend it all the time, but it does help the parent feel a little more at ease. It was really created so that the parent can feel more at ease, because you do run into those parents who, if they did not have a good education background or school for them was hard, they come into classrooms already with that wall up.
Absolutely.
Like, what you get ready to tell me about my child. And if you say, well, they're struggling here, you have some parents, not all, some who get defensive because they feel like, well, it's something, what you saying, and I did something. I'm not doing something. So you have to find ways. A good teacher will find ways, creative ways, to make sure that the parent doesn't feel like they need to go into defense mode.
Absolutely.
Or, just everybody chill, come to the table, let's see where everyone is.
Right.
Teachers have deficits too. I don't want to teach math. I don't like teaching math. I'm not really that good in math.
Mhm.
You give me a paper, I can write it any day. But
Right.
that's one of those things where you have to start working. Again, it's that partnership, it's that collaborative environment between home, school, community. It takes a village to raise a child. It takes a village to be a village. Everybody has their part.
It takes a village to be a child.
Right. Everybody has their part. So you need to know, what's going to make, a healthy student, what's going to make a healthy parent. I for the most part, I think with the exception of one or two, all of my families I got to know pretty well, and we were cool, so. And I'm an old school teacher because I'm a child of the 70s.
And so there you go. So now, I think we got on this because we were talking about Christmas and holidays,
Right.
and things like that. And let me bring it around. If you think about all of the parents who are right now feeling the pressure to work hard to fill that Christmas tree. Okay, just think about the pressure parents are under right now, because we haven't even got through Halloween. I mean, Thanksgiving. Forget about the fact that they got to go out and find a way to feed their families to fit into this holiday and get all of this food just to even feel like they're celebrating the holiday with their families. Or some have to travel. Some aren't even in touch with their families. And so you got all of these dynamics working against the parent and against the child. So the school system is definitely going to feel the pressure of that. Absolutely. And the system is made to push back. So the system is not going to stop. It's the people that are affected by the system who has to change the way they see things. So as parents, you're right now probably thinking about, how am I going to buy that gift that my child wants? How am I going to put the turkey on the table? How am I going to really be an effective parent during this holiday season and not feel crushed because I'm not doing everything that my child expects of me? Because when children go to school, their friends are talking about what's happening at home during the holidays.
Right.
Think about that child who can't enter into that conversation. They can't talk about Thanksgiving. They can't talk about Christmas because they're not going to have that. Their life will be the same on Thanksgiving Day. Their life will be the same on Christmas Day. So all of that works within the dynamic of how I was saying all of these systems, the school system, the economy, it all works together.
But it's the society we live in.
It's the
we live in a
society
capitalist society. We live in a get more, get more, get more, get more.
Yes.
And your worth, your self-worth is connected to how much net worth you have. I just recently, I told James, I said, for the holidays, I want to set aside a couple of dollars, not a lot, but I want to actually go and buy gloves and scarves, and hand them out.
Yes.
Because I think we need to rethink holidays. And so maybe if we start rethinking holidays and no matter what your religious persuasion may be, or belief may be, getting back to this understanding of if giving more. The holidays in general are supposed to be about giving, not just receiving.
Right.
So, if it's Kwanzaa, you're supposed to be thinking about doing for others. If it's doing for others. And now we are just becoming so, especially with this rise of technology and everything is at your fingertips right away. Delayed gratification is an issue. So maybe if we start thinking about how can I better teach our kids and our community about giving more as opposed to expecting more. Instead of buying, telling your child we're gonna get you everything under the tree, maybe say this Christmas we're going to go and do for another family because we've already been blessed.
And that segues into a question that I have.
Okay.
Is it a problem? Do you feel that it's a problem that parents have spoiled their children to the point now that they are unsatisfied with what they receive? For example, I've seen children who will get the latest technology,
Mm-hmm.
the latest device,
Mm-hmm.
the latest games, or the latest system.
Mm-hmm.
And then you'll have another set of kids